homeowner. You are hurting them because they have to make a mortgage payment. When you don't pay your rent, they can't make their mortgage payment. Okay, so you are hurting them. So be mindful when you're doing things. A lot of people getting money and they say this law is for this and that, and they taking advantage of it. It's not right. It's not right when you could be evicted, haven't paid your rent in a whole year. Okay, there are people who own these houses. They can't put people out, but yet still they have to sleep in their car because they don't have the money to pay for their own place. They have two houses. This lady had two houses, and she don't have anywhere to stay. That's wrong. It's wrong for those people who have money, who can pay their mortgage and don't. Okay? So be mindful of other people. Do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. That's the same thing I say in my book. Do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Okay, so it's not good to just do stuff like that. And I'm sure I have my co-host, Mr. Reggie. Reggie, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. What's up there, Miss Sylvia Hayes? We had a couple of difficulties. But as we do this thing, we simulcasting over here on our podcast, and I'm excited. Looking forward to sharing some good things for the mind, body, and soul this evening. To
start conference recording, the recording has started.
I'm getting us into recording mode over here as well because we're sending it out. But on this Sunday night, September the 5th, right before Labor Day, one of the things, because of all the things that's facing us right about now, I got the American flag in the background. Let me see, can I get that thing in there? But so many things are facing us right about now. We have to look at what can we do about our current situation. When we do these We Are Ready sessions, we always put a lot of emphasis on making sure that we're ready. And when I say that, in many cases, we just had a lot of situations that happened last week. There's fires out in California. There's floods down in the Gulf. Even in Pennsylvania, I think New York, New Jersey, and a couple of other spaces, there's flooding. And one of the things we say, well, what can we do? I mean, how can we be ready? One of the things we encourage people to do is to pray, fast, meditate, and strategize and come up with a situation, because none of us know the day or the hour we'll be facing a particular situation. We're currently in this COVID-19, whether it be pandemic, or pandemonium, certificate of vacation, or certificate of vaccination. We're faced with a lot of different challenges and different things of that nature. But when we look at it, we say, how can we get ourselves prepared? And one of the things in maybe three areas, the mind, the body, and the spirit, and then even in the social structure, things that we can do to better prepare ourselves for this current situation that we're in. This party didn't start right away. It started long before we got here, and it'll still be going on long as, for as long as we can think. And we have to prepare ourselves. I have to show the shirt, the Thinking Ain't Illegal Yet shirt, because during this time period, we got to be thinking and we got to be ready. I know that you bring a lot of good things to the conversation because as an author, a person that's out there doing things to help uplift people, I wanted you to share a quote or something from your book, because we got to kind of encourage people, because we've all been hit with so much. We hear so much doom and gloom, and we're gonna drop some doom and gloom on you. But we've been hit with so much. Sometimes we just need somebody to say, "Hey, have a good day." Share a kind word. So, Miss Sylvia, hey, what do you got to share with us this evening?
Okay, man. So many things are going through my head on what I can share. one of the things I would say is never let anyone dictate to you how you should feel about yourself.
Whoa.
Because a lot of people, they say, oh, you got big lips, I'll be shamed, or, tell them how ugly they are, and you should be hiding in the closet or whatever. People will do that. Because I know I had a friend who would say, she was with this guy who would tell her, nobody wants you, you're ugly, and all of that kind of stuff. And she actually had thought that she was ugly. She was so pretty. And my granddaughter even said that she was really pretty, but she thought she was ugly because this man told her that she was ugly and nobody wanted her. So you can't let people dictate to you how you should feel about yourself. If you look in the mirror and say that you are gorgeous, that's all you need. What you think about yourself. Don't let somebody else tell you how you look. And you gotta love yourself and love the thoughts you have for yourself more than what everybody else say, especially if theirs is negative.
Ooh.
If they're doing negative stuff, no, gotta love yourself. Love yourself first. Don't love anybody more than you love yourself. That's another thing in the book. Don't love anybody more than you love yourself. Always love yourself more. So those are a couple of things I can say.
Good. Well, those are some powerful things. During this time period, we've been doing a couple, they got all these challenges. And one of the things to try to encourage people during this time period, I know during COVID, you've been pretty busy. You've actually put your skill sets to work.
Yeah.
Publish a book. You're still acting. You're doing a whole lot of stuff. You're doing more now than you were doing before COVID. So, because I think sometimes we get bombarded with different things that face us, and it's facing all of us, and each of us handle it kind of differently. Even before COVID, we had some problems when it came down to how we felt, how we thought about things, and how we looked at things. And this COVID situation has put us in a position of division. So a lot of people, we got division, and not just COVID. Well, I just throw some things out there. We got people divided on all fronts. Mothers against daughters, fathers against sons, sisters against brothers, neighbor against neighbor, the vaccinated against the unvaccinated, race against race, mask wearers against non-mask wearers. And we still have a divided country that say Donald Trump will be back in office after the 18th of September. So when you have all that stuff bombarding you daily, and you still got to deal with some of these natural disasters, when you look just at America, not looking at any other countries, I'm just looking at here, people say, well, the one mayor, America's getting a whooping. God's taking his foot and put it up the behind of America. You got fires all on the West Coast. You got storms, even before this month, down in Texas, Houston, Texas, all the way down to Mississippi and the Gulf, floods. And then you got floods in the northern states, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and then in the Midwest, you got all this stuff. So a lot of people saying, man, we must have did something awful bad because America's getting chastised, getting whooped. Plus, we got COVID-19. Plus, we got a high rate of violence in the Black and brown communities. Everywhere I've gone, when I was down in South Georgia, I think there were 4 murders within the week I was down there. This is a town of 70,000 people, and in Atlanta, it was more than that. Chicago, Detroit, all around. So we have to give people some type of hope of something, not just the punishment and not just the doom and gloom, but there's hope out here. We put a challenge together for people. I know people have been doing, I don't know if you're doing the crate challenge. Are you doing that?
No, I ain't that crazy. I got something like that. Well, like I said, I love me.
Okay.
I love it. I'm not doing anything like that.
Well, in the absence of a plan, people do things. People come together to do some things. Now, some people are doing some good things, but we put a challenge together. One was to encourage people to focus at least. You got 7 days in a week, okay? Mm-hmm. But over the next 100 plus days before January the 1st, and spend at least 1 hour a week with yourself, me, myself, and I. Just thinking about you, what you can do to improve yourself. What are your fears? What are your needs? What are your wants? Not thinking about who won the Super Bowl, the Olympics, not thinking about crime, but spend 1 hour a week. I'm surprised at how many people don't get an opportunity to spend at least 1 hour a week with themselves. You got 7 days. You can spend, and then the second part of that challenge, we're encouraging people to either walk, crawl, hop, jump, roll, or even think about running a mile a day. In the next 100 days, you can do 100 miles before the first of the year. Very simple thing. And the third part of it,
can do that.
Okay. Now the third part of the challenge is over the next 100 days. We got about 115 days left in the year. You can do either of these. Just do it. If you're a super achiever, there's some things for you. But in the next 100 days, if you say just $1 a day, you might miss a couple of days, but guess what? By January the 1st, 2022, you should have $100. Now, I know that's not a lot of money for a lot of people, but $100 that you don't owe nobody, $100 that is just for you. Maybe you want to go to a spa. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want to do. Now, if you're an overachiever, you say, Drummer, $100 is not going to help me. If you just save $10 a day over the next 100 days, okay? Over the next 100 days, just $10. You will have $1,000, whether you put it in your bosom, put it on a rock, or put it in a drawer. You will have $1,000. Most people in America, they say less than, I got to get this number right. It's something like only 30% of all Americans will have $1,000 in their bank account as of January 1st. Now, if you're an overachiever, like yourself there, Miss Sylvia, you might say, you know what, Drummer, that ain't no money. That ain't gonna help me do nothing. I'm gonna save $100 a day over the next 100 days. You will have $10,000. Now, $10,000 would get a lot of weight off you.
Yeah, it would. That would be an overachieving for me.
And that's an overachiever.
It's overachieving for me, but I can do the $1 a day. And you know what? Not only do you just hold the money, invest it so it can make some more money for you.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. So, like, you could get a Charles Schwab account and invest it and watch your money earn, and it will earn you more money than the bank. Because I don't like the banks, to be honest. Put your money in there and they just take all your money. And then when you use their credit card, they charge you for saving money.
Oh, yes.
Charge you $8 a month for saving money. And then they're going to give you, 14 cents?
Or something like that. Ooh. Hey, and think about this. If you do either one of those challenges, $1 a day, $10 a day, or $100 a day. I've even had somebody call me. They said, Drummer, that ain't no money. Some of my higher multi-level marketing investors say, Drummer, you could have $100,000 in the next 90 days. I like those shades. I thought you had those shades on there. Okay. Okay. But whatever level you do, when you look at those three things, taking at least 1 hour a week Just spend with yourself, me, myself, and I. At least walking, running, crawling, or hopping, or even thinking about a mile a day. And then whether you do $1 a day, $10 a day, or $100 a day. You know, January 1st can look very different for you. So, excuse me. So that's one of the challenges that we putting out. They got all these other challenges, hopping over crates, slapping people, all this type stuff. But I believe if you do one of those 3 challenges, your life will change. And you know, we focus on mind, body, and spirit, mind, body, and soul this evening. And there's many things that we can do because it's not all doom and gloom. Okay,
Right.
there's still hope.
Yeah, and that walking is not really that difficult because, like, if you go to work, if you still work, if you take the stairs instead of the elevator, that's you putting steps in right there. Because a lot of people don't do that. They rather take the elevator or the escalator. But to me, that's the lazy way out unless you're in a hurry to get somewhere. Take the escalator. I mean the stairs. And
right.
if you take the escalator, walk up the escalator. You know, and that will help get those steps in and help build your heart too.
Yes. And you know, the exercise piece is critical because even with COVID, they say what are the, you know, when we look at Black, brown, indigenous, poor whites, the misinformed, and the uneducated, they say what are the biggest reasons that we have problems with anything, whether it be COVID-19, crack, meth, is underlying health issues. Even when it comes down to underlying health issues, a friend of mine just had a liver transplant. Now, in my mindset, I'm thinking, man, a liver, you know, 10 years ago, that was not, wasn't something you could think about somebody getting. But right. he's in reasonable shape, even though he needed a liver, the rest of his body is in reasonable shape because he stays active. He just had a bad liver from birth. And he's made it 40-something years on the planet. And, you know, they doing a liver transplant. Well, whatever condition you currently in, the better you are spiritually, mentally, and physically, mind, body, and soul, the better your chances of survival.
Yeah, and you know that mental state affects you physically.
Ooh.
So yeah, so if you're in a mental state of mind, bad mental state of mind, that could cause you to have stress, cause you to have high blood pressure. And if you can't keep your blood pressure down, that's gonna mess with your kidneys. Then eventually you're gonna have a kidney transplant because your high blood pressure messed it up. So you got to have that mental state of mind, good mental state of mind. And so a lot of these people who stay in these situations where their spouse or their children or something is always stressing them out, you need to do something about it. Cut the strings or say a couple of choice words or something to get it straight. You know?
Well, yeah.
Because if you love yourself, you're going to take care of yourself, both mental, body, mind, and spirit. You're going to take care of yourself. You can't put somebody else in front of you. You can't let your love for somebody mess with your mental state of being. You can't do that because it will mess you up.
Yes.
It will mess you up. So you got to take care of yourself. You got to.
You know, we got a question on this video. Someone wanted to know what motivated you to write your book.
What motivated me? Gee whiz, I started doing this when I was, I won't say teaching school, driving the school bus. So, wanting the kids to do right. Basically, that's what it was, because I discovered that the children going to be taking care of me when I get older. The younger generation is going to be the one we depend on as doctors, lawyers, and all of that kind of stuff. So I wanted them to have the right frame of mind. If you're going to be my doctor, I want you to be mentally straight. I want you to be honorable. I want you to do the right thing for me. If you're going to be my lawyer, I want you to be an honest lawyer. I want people with integrity. So I started as a bus driver teaching the children power thoughts, okay, so they can be in a good state of mind, so they can be good students and good citizens in the United States, in this country. That's what I wanted, good citizens. So I was doing the power thoughts every morning on the school bus. It helped them so much. They got better grades, higher self-esteem, and all that kind of stuff. But when I stopped driving the school bus, I had written all of these power thoughts down, and I wanted to continue to encourage the kids, as well as adults as well. I wanted to continue to encourage them. And so I wrote the book during the pandemic, so I can continue to encourage those kids, because they told me that I've talked to them more than their parents did.
Wow.
I've even helped adults. One lady told me, she was a grandmother. She said she had low self-esteem, and she got my book and read. After she read my book, her self-esteem rose. She went to school, and now she's owning a business.
Wow.
Just from reading my book. One lady told me she carried that book around her with her like a Bible. Then somebody else said they use this book to help them with their children, to help raise their children. And that's all I want to do, is to help people. I've been trying to help people for a long time, over 20 years, when I was teaching stress management, trying to help them to be mentally right and to manage stress. And now I'm trying to help the youth as well as the adults. So that's what encouraged me to do the book. And pandemic gave me enough time to do it.
Okay. Well, in the Victory Over Violence family, we affectionately call you the mother hen. You always take care of your biddies. But it's a good thing. One of the things that this situation, COVID-19, has done, and it has put us in a reset mindset. If you thought you couldn't do something, you say, you know what? I don't stand a chance. Hell would have to freeze over in order for me to do this. Well, guess what? Hell just freezed over. Whatever you thought could not happen is happening. We see, some people look at doom and gloom when they look at all the storms that's happening here in America, even outside of America, things that are happening. Well, it just broke the standard quo. It just put us in position so that we can do whatever we want to do. One of the reasons that people are not going back to work here in America is because a lot of people have been able to foster their dreams, things that they never thought they could do. I met a young lady that had been working for the same job, and she was getting paid good money for 20 years. But she had 20 years, like a jail sentence, of misery. And she said, you know what, drummer? She said, you know what? I'm going, when they gave her, when COVID-19 hit about 2.5 years ago, we did, I think it's CAP time, which stood for COVID. I got to think of what it stood for. Corona Action, Preparation, Training, Information, Mobilization, Empowerment. Well, one of the things that she did when she got her unemployment check, all her EBT money, she decided to become a homeowner. And she had been working for 20 years. She became a homeowner. She was able to stash some money, and then she started working from home. She started doing some simple projects from the house. She started selling items out of her house because she said, drummer, I didn't want to buy a U-Haul it and pay a storage company to move all my stuff. Now this is what she told me. She said, the Lord told me to sell everything in the house. She had read, I think it's in the Bible somewhere. I think it's in Kings 1 or 2. All my Bible scholars, y'all will correct me on this. Some prophet told a lady to sell all she had. Well, this woman sold everything in her house. It took her 18 months to sell everything in her house. Okay, she generated enough money to pay electricity. And you know what we were doing back then? We were telling people to tell your bill collector you can't pay the money and to defer your payments, all this type of stuff. Well, she was
Right.
able to sell everything in her house. She had enough money to start paying off her car, student loans. And it was 18 months. She was able to get a home. Now, one of the things, she was living in Atlanta. So she decided to get a home outside of the city limit. I think she went down way down in Henry County and bought a piece of property. And, you know, I think her rent was probably $1,700 a month. She was living up there in Alpharetta. Where's better? She's paying $1,700 a month. And she went down in Henry County and she paying about $700 on a mortgage for her house. Plus,
That's
she put
where you
a
do it.
and she went down there and she said, drummer, I'm gonna go. I'm not trying to buy new stuff because I sold everything. She sold everything. It took her 18 months to sell everything, clothes, appliances. I think she even sold a dog.
Her dog?
Yeah, you know, little dog. She said, wasn't nothing going, you know, I you know, but she, you know, she might have got the dog study. It was a male dog, but I don't know if she did it. You know, what they call it when they make the dogs, whatever they do with dogs to generate more dogs. You know, breeding. She turned the dog into a dog breeder. Dog, you know, but what I'm saying, not to impress people, but to impress upon people. Don't let this current situation we currently in minimize your thoughts, because we've been given everything we need to live in a dying world. The world is dying anyway. Okay? You might as well make the best of every moment you have. And we can do this through mind, body, and soul. However you pray, we always encourage people to pray, fast, meditate at a higher vibration, especially now. Okay? There be witty, like your book. You know, was that a question?
I didn't ask one.
Okay, okay. Well, just like your book, there be witty ideas that will be placed in all of us. It's nothing off the table. Okay? Now, you know, you can keep your morals and your however you feel, but everybody's situation has been challenged. Doctors challenged, teachers challenged. Everybody, it's just like we were riding a Ferris wheel and they threw everybody off. And everybody hit the ground. And once they found out that they were alive, guess what they said?
What?
I'm not getting back on that Ferris wheel. Okay?
What?
So what has happened is around the world, people have been doing stuff like that lady for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And the Ferris wheel just stopped. And they got off. And they saying, you know what? It's time for me to regroup. I'm going to find out a lot more about myself, find out who me, myself, and I really are, my purpose, and what plans I have, you know, for this this thing called life. And then putting some things into action. You know, I met a young brother today, and I don't know if he made it. I told him to come on board. He's actually from a country in Africa that I never heard of. And he's over here in America, 27 years old. You know, drove up in
himself?
Pardon?
He came by himself?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he got here about he was 18, so he's been over here almost 10 years.
Oh, okay.
And you know, sometimes we look at foreigners, we say, well, they're giving them this and they're giving them that. They give it, you know, you can get the wrong interpretation about stuff if your mind is not clear. You know, it's just like sometimes people think black and brown people just getting a big check. Ever since Obama, a lot of people just think black people just been getting a check. That's
Man,
further
we
from
the last ones to be getting a check.
right. They said Obama
How
gave.
can they say that we're the last one? Because even with those PPPs, a lot of the black people don't get them. No, everybody else get them, but the black and brown people.
Yeah,
Well,
but there's somebody, but there's somebody out there that think you're getting a little bit more than everybody else, and everybody thinks like that. They think you got a better shake, even whether you be a woman or usually people have an excuse. But anyway, this brother came over and he was telling me his story. I had never heard of this country. I got to look it up. It's right around the Ivory Coast. Is a little country in Africa that's but anyway, he came here by himself. He didn't know nobody, none of that. And he put himself in position through education. Okay. At 18, for some reason he spoke French and English. So he worked in the hotel industry. I mean, this brother, we got to get him on the show one day because interesting story. I meet a lot of people. He actually used to work on a cruise line, like one of those cruise lines, and that's how he got to America. And when he got to America, he said he was going to stay. Okay. Now he had a visa that was good for a year, but he maximized that visa, and he got a family to sponsor him. Okay. And that family sponsored him for 2 years. In that 2 years, he made enough money and he did all the work and he got his citizenship. I think he said he was 21 or 22. So his whole mission wasn't to go to the movies, wasn't to get high, wasn't to drink nothing, was to get his citizenship. And he got his citizenship. And from there, he got into a community college, and he was there for 2 years. And he started focusing on IT. And that's how he ended up doing what he's doing now. But we say that because anybody that's here in America, don't let nobody distract you from pursuing your dream. I don't care if it's COVID, if it's, whatever. They just had the Paralympics, okay? And we saw how motivated people were that had different situations with their body, limbs missing, no arms, no feet, and mental disabilities. Yet they put all they could into what they were doing. Okay,
because they were determined.
Oh yes,
they were determined, and a lot of people, they don't have that drive as they did. A lot of people don't. A lot of people, they set goals. I want to do this and do this, and one person come along, throw a stone in it, and they drop.
Ooh,
they just drop just because somebody threw a stone. You can't do that. You have to be strong because they threw that stone to keep you from succeeding. What people don't understand that, because you say, I want to be a movie star, and somebody gonna say, you can't be a movie star. You don't have the talent. Nobody gonna want you, or you got to stick with everybody in order to do it, to make it. They'll say all that kind of stuff to discourage you, but you could lift your head up high and keep on moving. And sometimes you can't tell people your dreams either and your goals, because they will try to pull you down, just like crabs. You're trying to reach up, and they're gonna be up there trying to pull you down. So you can't.
Dream stealers. We call them dream stealers.
Yeah, dream stealers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of them, and sometimes they don't mean to do that, but that's their mentality, and they would do it. So you can't tell everybody, because even the negative people, you can't tell negative people everything either, because they'll say something negative about what you're trying to do. Keep your mouth shut. Let your light shine. That's all you got to do. You don't have to say, see my light. Just let your light shine. They'll see what you're doing. You don't have to tell them what you're doing. That's what you got to do.
Well, most people that go out of their way to either hate on you, make you feel bad, get inside your head, start crawling around, they wish they had the aptitude. Well, no, they wish they had the discipline. And that's all it takes to do what you're doing. You know, when you see people making sacrifices, you know, people don't see the sacrifices that people make. I always remember I was working somewhere, you know, I always had a hustle. So I was taking people to work. This before Uber. I was charging, I think I was working at Lockheed. So I had about 5 people that rode with me every morning. Okay, 5 days a week. Well, I always remember this one lady. She said, "Drummer, I'm gonna get me a car." Okay. She said, I'm gonna go to work, leave work, go home, get up, and go back to work. Well, she did that for about 6 months. Focus. And, you know, I didn't realize it then because, you know, I was caught up in it. And then she called me one day. She said, "Drummer, I won't be needing a ride." I'm like, goodness, I just lost $10. Because I was charging people $10 a week. I was charging people $2 a day. I'm like, man, goodness. Now, I wasn't hating on her. But I was like, she said, "I won't be needing a," and she wasn't nasty. She said, "I just won't be needing a ride from you for no longer." I was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah, I just bought me a car." Oh, now she bought a car. She saved her money, and people were hating on her. They was telling her she was going to get laid off. It was no way she was going to be able to afford the car. You know, people think of all kind of reasons to get inside your head because they wish they would have done what you were disciplined to do. You know, just like even with your book, anything that you do requires some degree of discipline.
Yes,
you know, when I look at Black and brown people in our history, you know, I look at the discipline that many of our ancestors had. I don't even have to look far. I look at my mother, who just turned 91 years old. My mother, I don't think she drove a car until she was about almost 60.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my mother sold insurance. And people would, you can't make this up. My mother was one of the fastest walking women in Albany, Georgia. She would take the insurance, whatever the bag, and guys in their cars would not hit as many houses as my mother hit. You know, they were doing other stuff. They was talking to women, doing all kind of dumb stuff. My mom was about that money. She'd get in that house, she'd walk over, she'd walk past dogs, all kind of stuff. The discipline. See, it takes discipline even in a situation like we in currently. If you focus on all the stuff that's going on, you know, and yeah, it's a lot going on, but we have to be disciplined because this too shall pass. And the people that are disciplined 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you say, man, I remember when America had that little hiccup called COVID-19, that reset. You don't know what's going to happen, but it's time to put yourself in a better position. That's why we put that challenge out there where people can think about some things to do.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to say about all of that is attitudes are contagious.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is that a quote from the book?
Yeah, that's a quote from the book. Attitudes are contagious. What kind are you spreading? And that's like attitudes, I'm going to be great. You know, if people see you trying to be your best, being positive, working and striving, they're going to catch on. Somebody going to say, "Oh, she's doing this. I like the way she do this. I'm going to do it too." You know, it's contagious. People will start to hang around you because they want to do better too. But then you got those haters too, who might want to stay away, you know, and talk about you and stuff like that. But if you are positive and you have a positive attitude, somebody's going to like it, and somebody's going to catch on, and somebody's going to strive to be better and strive to do what's good for them. You know, just like the car, you know, look, I had stuff for my car before I even got my car. I had a novelty tag for my car. I had an emergency kit for my car, you know, long before I had my car.
Okay.
But my goal was to get a car, you know, so I was positively thinking, didn't know when, you know, but I just knew I was going to get a car. So, you know, it was thinking, positive thinking.
Yeah.
So
that's a good, and that's a good, well, you know what? You made me think, see, a lot of times we got to see stuff up here in our head. You know, sometimes they call us dreamers, but ain't nothing wrong with being a dreamer. Okay.
That's at all. As long as you do more than just dream.
Yeah, you got to do more than dream, but you got to see something. Too. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a quote from the book.
Yeah, that's a quote from the book. Dreaming as long as you do more than just dream. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, you know, I always think about there's a brother in the Bible, Joseph. Joseph was a dreamer. He can interpret dreams. And Joseph would tell people all kind of crazy, all his brothers. And you know, they was hating on him. I might not be telling the story right. All my spiritual brothers, they'll correct me. But anyway, this is how I saw the story. Well, they hated on Joseph so much. I mean, I think Joseph's daddy made him a big, you know, a jacket. Well, just say if Joseph was living now, he'd like have a big jacket with all kind of colors on it. You know, he'd look good. Well, his brothers, I think he had about 12 brothers. They got upset with him. And they started hating on him. You know, now some of the brothers hated on him so much they wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
But I think one of the brothers said, don't kill him. you know, just let him get in something, like sell him into slavery or whatever. We just, like that. But anyway, when you look at dreaming, and wherever Joseph went, he had great days. I don't care what it was. And that's how we have to look at stuff. And that's how we have to think about stuff. And thinking ain't illegal yet. I still encourage everybody to get one of them thinking ain't illegal yet t-shirts. If you go with it to that andyclyde.com website, you can get one of those t-shirts. I'm going to tell you this. Thinking went up 30% since I wear my shirt now. My thinking's up 30%. Just from wearing the shirt. But anyway, when we think about, even though you got haters, and you still got to do what you do. Because wherever Joseph went, he had good success. Okay? And, there are people going to talk about you. They're going to put you down. They're going to tell you what you can't do. But deep down in places they don't even think about, even when they go to sleep, they want to be you. They want to do what you're doing. They want to keep you close because that motivates them to do what they got a fear of not doing. They could do the same thing because all of us have been given the same talents. Okay. It's just what we do with them. Okay. I was recently talking to a brother and I said, brother, he was telling me, he was basically making excuses. The brother was good at what he did, but he just didn't have enough courage to do it. He said, man, once I get this drama, once I get that, once I get this, and once I get that, I'm going to do it. Well, he was more talking himself out of not doing it, whatever we're doing. But, those are things we have to think about. Don't let nobody steal your dream.
Right.
Don't let nobody, especially you, because you'll start talking yourself out of stuff.
Yeah, and we are our worst enemy when it comes to that. We are our worst enemy. And a lot of times we have fear, and we put that fear in ourselves and keep that from doing things too. So as far as success, sometimes we are our worst enemy. We have a question here. It says, what lessons have you earned from the pandemic? What lessons have you earned? Have you learned?
One is I learned to implement whatever you're thinking about doing. One of the reasons we're doing these broadcasts and different things, I don't care what it is. Throw it up in the wall and see what's going to happen. You can't lose. So I learned that instead of just holding some of the things in my head, I'm going to do everything. It's like a bucket list. Implement whatever you're thinking about, go for it.
Yeah. I learned that I'm glad I'm not in the corporate world anymore.
That's slavery. That's slavery.
Yeah, it hinders you so much. There's so much you want to do and you can't do it because, as you know, I am an actress. So like when I was doing a movie, when I was doing Selma, I got to do one part, and then summer school started. And they asked me to come in and do another part of Selma. And I talked to my supervisor, and she started fussing. You know that you had to be here for this amount of time and all that kind of stuff. She was just fussing. I'm going, okay. And I said, never again.
Woo.
Never again. So I have not had that problem anymore. Because that kept me, because my goal is to be an actress, a singer, a dancer, author, and all that other stuff. That's entertainment.
Right.
That's what I'm here for. This school busing, the driving, that was to help those kids because I love my people. I love them, and I want them to be successful in life, and I want to put some stuff in their head. So if I decide to go across the street, one of them won't be popping a gun on me.
Yes.
So that's why I was doing this, because I want them to have good moral values, to think positive, not follow the leader and all of that kind of stuff. That's why I was driving the school bus. I got a job specifically to do power thoughts. That's the only reason I started driving the school bus, to empower those kids.
Wow.
So now that I'm out of it, I can do more. I didn't want that to keep me from acting,
right.
or doing other stuff. So I'm glad I'm gone.
Yes.
I am glad I don't have to work on anybody's job now. I could just do whatever I need to do to make me happy, because this is my happy time.
Yes. Well, that goes right into our goals over the next 100 days. Spend at least 1 hour a week with me, myself, and I. A lot of people don't get to do this until they're in the hospital. They got tubes hooked to them.
Yeah.
And then they get to think about, who am I? What do I want to do? What my legacy is, and what do I really want to do? And then number 2, walk, crawl, hop, jump, roll. I even think about at least moving around 1 mile a day, 1 mile around your neighborhood, 1 mile of riding, bike, whatever you got to do, because that exercise is going to get you outside. It's going to get you vitamin D. It's going to pump the blood in your body. And then number 3, focus on at least saving $1 a day. I know that's a little bit of money. People say $100 ain't going to do that much for me, drummer. But if you a B student, do $10 a day. And that's $1,000 January 1st. If you're an A student, do $100 a day. And that's $10,000 January 1st. That's our challenge. Now, if you're a super achiever, do $1,000 a day. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, whatever level you at, the thing is, for you, not just for me, but for you, this is something, when you start finding out more about yourself, who me, myself, and I really are, and our relationship to ourselves, the planet, and other people, and then you find out and start taking care of your physical body. I've had people that reverse diabetes, got off high blood pressure medicine, all that type of stuff, but doing the 100 days challenge in the past.
Mm-hmm. And it can happen too, because doctors tell you're gonna have diabetes for the rest of your life, and that's
not true.
To. Yeah. Ooh. If you know how to take care of your body, you can get off of those pills and get everything right. Because all you got to do is regulate your pancreas, because your pancreas is what's causing the problem. If you know how to take care of your body and get everything in shape, you don't have to be a diabetic for the rest of your life.
Oh, Miss Sylvia, we got about a second, but give them how to get that Power Thought book. How do we get your book?
Oh, you can get my book at lulu.com. Go to the bookstore at lulu.com and order the book. Of course, there are other avenues too. You can go to Google and Amazon, everywhere else. But I send people to lulu.com because that's where the revenue is.
Oh, okay. And you got to post it over on our We Are Ready page, the Drumming Up Business page. I encourage everybody to tune in next week. Thank you, Ms. Sylvia. I know we got some other stuff we're going to be sharing with people, but Labor Day, tomorrow, Labor Day ain't what it started out to be. It wasn't, it was for labor, now it's for shopping and all that type of stuff. But for everybody out there, take a moment to embrace yourself. When you spend a little time with me, myself, and I, you'll find out whatever that God-given talent is. I don't care what it is. It's something out there. Everybody has fallen off the Ferris wheel. This is your time. This is your time to do whatever it is you want to do. And this is Reginal, the Peopleologist. I encourage you to like our Facebook page over there. Share this with family, friends, and loved ones. Maybe you good. Maybe everything's all right with you. But you got a friend or a family member that needs to work on their body, their mind, and their soul. So share this with them. We will be back next week. I'm looking for people that have had some degree of exposure to COVID-19, whether a survivor or a victim, or someone. We have to share some success stories so that people can be encouraged. Well, we love you like God loves the world. I encourage you, everybody, to join us over on the podcast. That's 760-548-9952 numbers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be back next week. This is our, we've been sharing this over on our Facebook site. And we'd like to thank Miss Adrian, for being the super producer to get us going and rolling and strolling to keep this line up. And I encourage everybody to follow your dreams. Don't give up. Give them a quote, Miss Sylvia, when it comes to not giving up. I know I'll be reading your book all the time.
You control your destiny. You have the power to succeed. Let no one discourage you from reaching your mightiest dream. Lulu.com.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. I think next, we're going to continue focusing on mind, body, and spirit. So we'll have, with those success stories and situations that people have been dealing with, we also bringing counselors in to help people. If you got any problems, with I encourage you during this time period to go to coping-19.org. If you need anybody to help you, because a lot of people are dealing with a lot of anxiety, a lot of frustration, you don't know what to do. A lot of people don't know if they don't want to go back to work, because I got a lady got jumped on the other week because she was vaccinated and everybody at work wasn't. They jumped on her. Well, they initiated the jump on because they put guinea pig on her car.
Ooh.
She wasn't feeling that. But so a lot of things are happening. We got to just take it, ourselves. I encourage people to join us next week. Same bat channel, same bat time. We love you like God loves the world. And remember this, early bird gets the worm, but it's that second mouse that gets the cheese. You know what happened to the first mouse? He got caught in the trap. So don't let him get you in the trap. And look out. We're much more equipped to survive this situation than we think. Okay, and thinking ain't illegal yet. Use your mind at all times. Don't let nobody steal your thoughts. Once they ban thinking, we all doomed. So we love you like God loves the world. We'll see you at the top and from the top. Have a great day. And I think that's all, folks. We'll be back next week.